Hey everybody, and welcome to my Diablo 4 review. This video we will go in depth on my thoughts on Diablo 4. Just a disclaimer before I get absolutely hunted in the comment section, but this is essentially my first Diablo game ever, so take everything I say with that in mind. If you'd like to let me know your thoughts on the game, I'd love to read them in the comment section below. I'm also in the process of just reviewing any game I want to, so if there's a game you'd like me to review or play, whether it's new or old, let me know in the comment section below as well. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. With that being said, let's get to my Diablo 4 review. When I first started writing this review, the first thing I did was Google what was the first dungeon crawler, and Google answered with a game that I've never heard of called Petit 5, created back in 1975. Well, we have come a long way in the dungeon crawler genre, as we now have what some believe to be the pinnacle of dungeon crawling, Diablo 4. Diablo 4 is my first attempt at the genre and also my introduction into the series as a whole. I played maybe 3 hours of Diablo 3 a few years after it had released, but I just didn't vibe with it. I've heard nothing but high praises towards Diablo 4, so I decided to give it a shot. My Diablo 4 experience was mainly solo on PlayStation 5 on the World Tier 1 difficulty because I am a new player after all. I played as a close-range barbarian and named my character Bardock the Barbarian, and he was a giant, bulky badass. Diablo 4 has its charm in the countless dungeons you have to explore and with the large skill tree, but where I think it is at its peak is in two ways. The first peak are the cutscenes and the graphics. When you first boot up the game and are shown this epic cutscene of 4 characters running and fighting creatures as they attempt to escape from demons, you are shown just how cutthroat this world can be. And when you are shown the resurrection of Lilith, it's just an amazing way to start the journey, as well as introduce us to the big bad of the game. All the animated cutscenes are amazing in Diablo 4. They are great ways to experience this world and all the darkness that it truly carries within. I do wish there were a bit more of these movie cutscenes, I guess, but that's just because they were so amazing that I wish I could watch a Diablo movie if that was a thing. The second peak is in its story and characters. About halfway through the game, I was absolutely only playing it for the story. Without spoiling anything, I just like how you actually have reason for what you're doing and why you are who you are in this game. The characters are pretty great too. From Lorath to Doran to Nyrel, all the characters have their own backstories, their tragedies, their reason for doing what they are doing, and I'm here for all of it. I love the villain in Lilith as well. Seeing her descend from the ceiling of a church is truly chilling. Seeing how easy it is for her to corrupt the people of the world is so amazing to witness as they lie, betray, kill, and steal from people who they would normally call friend, which is an insanely intense thing to watch. The story was what truly kept me going in this game. The combat and dungeons felt very repetitive for me after a while, almost like a chore, but the story was so good that I kept going to the point where I was just beelining the main story missions just to see what would happen next. Seeing Lorath and the start of his journey to where he ends up, or Nyrel and the troubles with her mother, to Doran and his relationship with his son, Yorin. I was here for all of it. I truly did not expect a great story going in, but Diablo 4 definitely stuck the landing in that regard. Even though Diablo 4's story is great, the game itself isn't without its faults. Starting with the server issues at launch, I know for a fact that numerous people took time off work just to play this game, but it was unfortunate because the launch of the game was plagued by numerous server shutdowns. I know it's silly to be mad about this, but they had a rough idea of how busy their game would be at launch by checking the beta statistics, so I don't understand why the servers were as bad as they were at launch. Oh well, it's a small thing to be mad at, but it definitely hindered me from playing your damn game, Blizzard, so please fix your shitty servers before launch next time, please. During my playthrough, I encountered 3 game-breaking bugs where my character would phase through the floor, making it so I couldn't move my character at all. I was forced to portal back to the village and retrace my steps the entire way to the dungeon and go through the entire dungeon again. It's just very annoying. I also got the feeling that the latter half of the areas in the game were extremely underpolished. I had enemies getting stuck in the ground so they couldn't attack. I had multiple times where the NPCs I was supposed to follow would get stuck and not move towards the area I needed them at. And even certain missions just wouldn't spawn the NPC or the items I needed in order to progress in the mission. I also have a gripe with having side missions just to be fluff. Diablo 4 has an absurd amount of side quests and it overwhelms me. Want to know how many exactly? Around 215 side missions. I counted. Just the side missions, mind you. Of course, the side quests aren't mandatory at all, but it just blows my mind that there are over 200 side missions in this game. After the first 20 or 30 side missions, they lose their value and their luster. I stopped doing side quests because I could just change the game to its second level of difficulty, World Tier 2, and grind normal missions and get a ton more experience. I know it's a looter, so it needs more missions than other games, but 215 is just too much. Speaking of being overwhelmed, I just hate the map in Diablo 4. Sometimes when I am trying to go somewhere specific, I pin it on the map so a path will appear on my minimap so I can follow it. Between 4 and 5 times, it just doesn't lead me to where I need to go at all. I will pin it on the map looks good, I go back into the overworld, and I just cannot get to where I need to go if I follow the pin only. I found this extremely frustrating. Also, the map needs filters so I can stop seeing the 40 druid only missions on my damn map. They're everywhere, and as someone who is only doing one playthrough, just give me the option to filter through the missions. It is super annoying when there are not proper filters. I also really dislike having so many shitty weapons. There's too many to the point where every 2 seconds after a fight, I am swapping out so much equipment and have to go back to town to sell all my shit because it stacks up insanely fast. Destiny has the same problem, but at least the good equipment in Destiny is easier to find and get. Diablo 4 has a random loot spawner and it's just too much dog shit loot. I also wasn't a huge fan of grinding in this game. Because I was beelining the story missions, I found myself 2 to 3 levels under the required level for the final endgame push. So I went and grinded, and this absolutely took any love I had left for this game and tossed it out the window. I did switch the difficulty to World Tier 2 so I could get more experience points, but it made the game so much more difficult and I wanted to pull all my hair out during this grind. I know what everyone's gonna say, get good kid and other shit like that, but I'm just saying how annoying of a grind that was, and it ruined a lot of my enjoyment for the end game. But even when I played the end game, it was so damn easy because of the grind I did to the recommended level. I didn't die a single time in the last part of the game, which I guess is either kinda cool or kinda stupid. My final gripe with Diablo 4 is the giant skill tree. The huge skill tree is a good thing and a bad thing. It's great because it can lead to many different playstyles for everybody, but it's bad when it's as large and as complicated as the skill tree in Diablo 4 is, which led to me feeling overwhelmed a majority of the time I studied it. After I unlocked my ultimate at around level 25 or 30, I just upgraded my current skills in the game because there were too many skills on the skill tree and not enough action slots. Games like Kingdom Hearts 3 and Hogwarts Legacy give you multiple presets that you can customize with certain attacks or spells on different presets so you can have more variety in gameplay. I'm literally just swinging my strongest attack constantly because that's all I really needed to do. The game has all these attacks and abilities, but no incentive to actually use any of them. Let me have like 2 or 3 presets so I can use more of the things that the developers worked so hard to put in the game. I don't feel like that's an over ask at all. By the end, I just had one goal in mind. Whatever my strongest moves were, I was going to put all my skill points into those moves only. I definitely could have done something different, but I wasn't incentivized to, so I didn't. It's kind of like what Kevin says on that episode of The Office.
So me think, why waste time? Say lot word when few word do trick.
Exactly. Why complicate my experience when few abilities do the trick? After all that has been said by me, I think if you enjoy dungeon crawlers, Diablo as a franchise, or good stories in video games, I think you will be pretty satisfied with Diablo 4. For me, I just feel like this wasn't my type of game. I stopped having fun about halfway through and the fun never came back to me. I just wanted to see how the story would end, and that was the only thing keeping me going. I will likely never return to Diablo 4, but would play Diablo 5 just to continue the story. With all my pros and cons, I give Diablo 4 a 7.5 out of 10. The grind at the end, the glitches, and the monotonous gameplay loop really held this game back for me. But the story was great, as well as the extensive skill tree and character options. What did you think of Diablo 4? Is this up there for Game of the Year for you? I'd love to hear about all your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.